Hey guys, it's me Meteor, and welcome to another edition of What is Kirby Canon? Today we're talking about Taranza and Sectonia. Taranza makes his appearance at the beginning of Triple Deluxe, where he is seen lifting King DDD out of his castle after his castle and Kirby's home were both already lifted by a vine known as the Dreamstalk. Where this vine came from and why he took DDD were both unknown until the end of the game. Here, we find out that the people of the sky planted the Dreamstalk in hopes of saving Floralia. Taranza, on the other hand, trying to be one step ahead, captures DDD, who he mistook for the hero of Popstar. Yeah, Taranza doesn't really do much research, does he? Rather than fight Kirby directly, Taranza tries to play a bit of irony and have his own hero defeat him. Upon DDD's defeat, Taranza instantly realizes the error of his ways. Knowing he messed up, he then approaches Queen Sectonia for help. To say she was upset is a bit of an understatement, being as she smacked him into oblivion. Of course, Taranza was never truly the villain here. As Taranza stated, these were really Queen Sectonia's plans. She was the power-hungry monarch who, as it states, oppressed the people of the sky. When Sectonia is unable to defeat Kirby herself, she also tries to play a bit of irony and defeat Kirby with the thing that helped him here by fusing with the Dreamstalk. Really, Sectonia almost won too, but thanks to DDD and Taranza teaming up, Kirby is able to escape her clutches and even given a miracle fruit to put an end to Sectonia for good. Kind of. She did revive herself in the true arena before exploding into thousands of petals. One of those could have been used to create the Sectonia clone in Planet Robobot, being as it says it was made from a certain flower. It could also just be referring to the Dreamstalk itself, which may still have some properties of her post-defeat, but once again, none of that may be canon. For clarification, the fact they made a clone could very well be canon, just not the fight itself. Regardless, long before these events took place and grew out of control, according to her DX description, she never used to be evil or power hungry at all. In fact, Taranza and Sectonia were once good friends. So how did it lead to this? Well, Taranza's lack of research once again led to failure. According to Meteor'z, Taranza stole the dimensional mirror from the mirror world and gave it as a gift to Queen Sectonia. So even if the events of DDD Tour weren't canon, the fact that she went insane by staring into this mirror day after day most certainly is. Someone or something influencing her on the other side would only make sense. Even more, if we look at her description in Soul of Sectonia's final form, it states she's fed off countless hosts and can't even remember her true form. So, what is her true form? It certainly isn't the B form. According to Meteor'z, her original form looked like Taranza himself. We first get a glimpse of this form in Planet Robobot's fight against Sectonia clone right before she explodes. We get a far better look of her, however, in one of the celebration pictures from Star Allies, where you see her staring back on the other side of the mirror. It should be noted that while the same description could be worded to imply Taranza's death, especially following up from Taranza's final words on the first phase, the Japanese translation is a bit different, reading more like a quote from Sectonia herself saying, "A voice called out to help me, but I can no longer hear it." Simply meaning the words came onto deaf ears, so to speak. Of course, even though Sectonia herself may have finally gotten her eternal beauty sleep, Taranza still hasn't forgotten her. While the game itself may not be canon, in the ending picture of Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, we can see him holding a flower from the Dreamstalk with a depressed look on his face. Even further, if we look at his description in Star Allies, it says he's a lonely insect in search of a queen. This could imply that maybe he is ready to move on and looking for someone else, but if we look at his guest star description, it says he's hoping for a true miracle, making a bid for the altar even though deep in his heart, he knows the outcome. Yes, as futile as his efforts may be, Taranza is still hoping that someday he'll get his queen back. got a feel for the little guy. Overall, in terms of the main canon, we talked about everything we needed to about Taranza. That being said, he did make an appearance as the villain in Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, which took place in a separate dimension known as the Dream Kingdom, but I'll save that for another video. See you guys next time.